Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Sunday and welcome to this week's video, Everybody Loves Baldur. I read it over and over again in the text and in commentary. Baldur was absolutely beloved by all. And why not? He was a god of light and purity. Some consider him to be the wisest of all of the gods. He has a keen sense of justice, was known for settling feuds, whether or not the dispute was between the gods or amongst humans. And on top of that, he's thought to possess really beautiful manners, and he went out of his way to practice graciousness. Baldur is the embodiment of what many people actually wish to become themselves, this natural leader that people seek out because of their virtues and they believe in them rather than living in fear of their faults. When Baldur had nightmares that foretold his death, his mother was able to get oaths from everything in creation, apart from the mistletoe, to not harm him, and this granted him a kind of seeming invincibility. And so confident were the gods that Baldur could not be touched, they created a game of throwing weapons at him. Any and every weapon they could find, just to prove the point. This set the stage for his death, because the mistletoe was the one thing that hadn't sworn an oath. Perhaps sometimes it was because it was deemed too young or too insignificant, depending on what source you look at. But it was a spear made of mistletoe that ended Baldur's life. Anyone familiar with the myths knows that this wasn't the end of the matter. The gods went to tremendous lengths to see Baldur resurrected, and just as his death was secured by one thing, so too was his resurrection prevented by one thing. And this teaches a great lesson about vulnerability. No matter how seemingly well-placed, gifted, intelligent, and powerful anyone appears to be, there is always at least one thing that can bring about their downfall. Invincibility is an illusion, as is permanence. Nothing lasts forever. All things end, all things die. It's a necessary part of the cycle. Now, Baldur's death is thought to have occurred on the summer solstice, and his birth at the winter solstice, and then he's resurrected post-Ragnarok. This bears too close a resemblance of the yearly agricultural cycle to dismiss the obvious metaphor of these events, especially since it was his brother, the one who was associated with the dark and winter, who carried out his death, and it was Loki, who enables transformations when necessary, who actually gave Hermod the tool that was necessary to take Baldur out of the equation. Now, no matter what climate we live in, there's a coming and going of the seasons that must take place for the sake of agriculture and sustaining life. It's part of natural law, and without it, the process would completely break down. The soil would lose its nutrients, that would result in less food and more human suffering. Now, on a figurative level, the desire of the gods to never be parted from Baldur is similar to that desire of people who wish for a summer without end, or an eternal spring, a perpetual autumn, or even a winter that never ceases. We all have our preferences. But life cannot exist in that kind of stagnation. Every season serves a purpose, and it must come and go in turn, just as Baldur must die, go to rest in Helheim, and then return at the end of the cycle to begin anew. Another lesson we can take from Baldur is that popularity is not a foolproof shield from life's misfortunes, to which we are all subject. Sometimes even family and friends will not have it within their power to fish us out of the soup, and we will have to make the best of our situation. Remember that even Baldur could not be rescued, and he then thereafter had a seat at Hel's side. The story of Baldur's death also teaches us not to take our advantages in life for granted. Only one thing in creation had the power to bring Baldur low, and it was small, overlooked, and not considered relevant. So too can we find ourselves in bad situations because we neglected to attend to the details in life that seemed small or not important, or how could that have anything to do with anything? Now, the near universal good opinion of others that Baldur enjoyed could not prevent his destiny from taking place. This shows that our nearest and dearest cannot always perceive the nature of potential harm that we face, and they aren't always reliable guides where our safety is concerned. They can be too optimistic. They can be overconfident. They might think, oh, well, nothing can go wrong. And this kind of thinking has been the precursor to many tragedies. But even so, hope does remain, even during the lowest points in our lives. Baldur died, and yes, he was thrown into unfamiliar climes, but it wasn't the end of his story. It was the inciting incident for a future new beginning. We can take comfort in the reality that all things do pass, especially when we feel like the world is just crashing down around our ears. Baldur makes a triumphant return in the mist, and so we too can renew and come back in our own lives. So that's what I have to say about Baldur for this week. I look forward to hearing your comments. Let me know in the comments section below, or come to me on Discord at Blackbird's Brew. There's a link to join in the description box below, and I would be very happy to see you there. But that'll do it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.